Kipindi chetu cha Sawazisha Gumzo. Tulianza Tana River, leo tuko Eldoret na tunaendelea tujue ni yapi yaliyo huko mbele. Hiki ni kikao. Mimi nikiwa hapa mimi siongei. Sawa? Mimi sitaongea. Ni nyinyi wenyewe mtafanya nini? I want it to be a discussion. Okay? I want us to talk about what is this issue? What is this teenage pregnancy? Who falls in that bracket of being a teenager? What are some of the causes? How can we eradicate this issue? What is the stigma that falls around it? And what do we do about it? Mmelewa? So it says, as Kenya struggles to curb the spread of the coronavirus, which is now the East African country is facing another outbreak. Which is what? Teenage pregnancy. So during 3 months of lockdown, they say 152,000 Kenyan teenage girls became pregnant. 100 and what? And 52,000 became pregnant in a period of 3 months. It further states that 1 in every 5 girls between 15 to 19 years is either pregnant or already a mother. 1 in every 5 girls between 15 to 19 years is either pregnant or already a mother. Which also means that in every 1,000 births, 96 are from a teenage girl. On 3rd of March, the government of Kenya launched a national campaign against teenage pregnancies. It was known as Let's Act to End Teenage Pregnancies. So I just want to give you just numbers on some of the counties, okay, in terms of teenage pregnancies. They say Nairobi is leading at 26,538 teenage pregnancies. And these are pregnancies between the age of 10 years to 19 years. Mtoto anasaa mtoto. Mtoto anajifungua mtoto. In Kakamega, 17,555. In Nakuru, 16,764. In Meru, 15,826. In Bungoma, 14,512. And of course now other counties. So I have a question to pose. According to you, is this a red flag? Is this a red flag? Does it touch on the girls' education, the girls' health, and the girls' opportunity? Does it touch on those 3 aspects of this young girl who is 10 years, who's been forced now to be a mother, of this 19-year-old who's now become a mother? So, has the society failed us?
It has failed us. Let's start from home. The parents. As a parent, you can't talk to your child about sex. Child molestation is an issue that is going on in Kenya and you don't want to talk about it. Uncles are touching their nieces, aunts are touching their nephews, and parents don't want to talk about it. Go to religious leaders, priests. It's a taboo in the Muslim and Christian communities to talk anything sex related. It is wrong, it is ungodly, but it's not. Just telling people, we're not asking for the parents and the priests to talk about comprehensive sexual education. We are asking them to tell their children, this is right, this is wrong. When you're 10 years old, we want you to tell your child, ukiguzwa hapa ni pabaya, come tell me. Have a safe space for your child. Utapata, a girl is being raped, yet she can't go to her parents because she's scared they will judge her for it. I get pregnant, I can't go to my family because I'm scared I'll be beaten. So I prefer aborting chini ya maji. which will lead to more health complications. The government has let the youth down. NYC has let the youth down. Right now, you guys have been talking about, you, sir, you said something about you guys are into, what is it called? Involvement. You have 50% of youth, you have marginalized communities, you have people with disabilities, yet mumekuja hapa, it's like a uniform. All of you are basically, you don't have anything from anybody with persons with disability, you don't have anybody from ethnic community, you don't have anybody from marginalized community. So that is what Kenyan government does. We are all talk yet no action. We say this yet we don't do it. But we're used to that in life. I'm Shukri. Yeah.
My name is Mercy, but I can add to what Shukri has said. Right now, we actually get to see how parents have neglected the issues about talking to their children, ama taking the responsibility of handling their children. When schools are closed, teenage pregnancy was, when schools were opened, teenage pregnancies were not an issue, but when they are closed now, it's when we are having very huge numbers. Why is it? And yet people are at home. Alafu, the government, we have so many policies around young people. We have the National Adolescent Sexual and Reproductive Health Program. There are so many things they've written there. It's their objectives, they want to do this or that, but yet qua ground there is no domestication of it. So if I am a young person and I don't even have the information, or I don't have the knowledge of knowing that I can walk into a certain facility, get information, get services, how is it when something goes wrong, like I am being blamed, nyinyi mnafanya vitu mbaya, mkona tabia mbaya, yet the proper structures that are supposed to provide a good environment for me to get those services and information are not there. I'm really seeing this as an issue from everyone, the government, the religious leaders, the parents, everyone around us. In our current environment, back in the day, like my mom tells me, mtoto alikuwa wa jamii. Siku hizi ukiona mtoto wa nani anafanya, bora si wangu anafanya, me I have no problem. But at the end of the day, whatever that kid goes through, it will affect me as a parent or even the other parent, directly or indirectly. So I think we've just gone ignorant. Whatever was happening before, we were looking out for each other. It's not happening again. So everyone has a role to play. Even us young people who are informed, we are using our social media platforms to just share information. Utawezana ama utawezana. Why are we not using that platform to tell a young person, by the way, you have this right to access information. According to this platform, according to this document, you have the right to walk into this office and demand for access for information.
My name is Derek. Parents nowadays have become very funny. That parents do not share with their children. They don't have time for their children. They have become what we call IDPs, or internally displaced parents. They have no business with their children. If you cannot be able to sit down with these teenagers and instead you tell them that, this coronavirus period, the whole day has become so long. Go and stay with your aunt. Go and stay with your uncle. When you give birth to these children, I don't think it is a wise move for a parent to be sending his or her children to relatives in this period. And this period is very critical. We know we must accept ourselves, and we must accept our society, the way we have been brought up. We must take up the responsibility. Right now, you will find very many parents are blaming teachers. When children are in school, they are blaming teachers. They are saying that, you teachers, you are not instilling the rightful discipline and the values that are required in these children. What are you doing as a parent? What are you doing as a parent? Why should the parents blame the government because of teenage pregnancies? Why? The second issue that we need to look into is that I think in our society, moral decay is alarming at a very high rate. that look at these teenage pregnancies. Let us call a spade a spade. Let us condemn immorality with the strongest words possible. You cannot expect this. Look at these children. The teenagers, those who are pregnant now, you will find that at least 75% of them, they have been impregnated by people who understand the constitutional provisions, who understand what child defilement is. Why should you, as a person who is above 18 years of age, a gentleman who is 30 years, you are impregnating a 16-year-old, then you come here and say, oh, you know, the government and the chief, sijui ndio hawafanyi kazi vizuri, sijui what. No. Let us condemn immorality. We people who are aged enough, who understand the constitution very well, are the people who are supporting the issues of teenage pregnancies, because why are you busy sleeping with the children? You know, what I know is that the teenage pregnancies, if you find these small girls and small boys impregnating each other, they are minimal. But the people who are promoting teenage pregnancies today, they are people who are aged enough. So why should we be beating around the bush? Let us call a spade a spade. Let us preach the gospel of doing away with these immoral things in our society. Tell people, bwana, ambia watu, wewe bwana muache kuharibu watoto wadogo. Avoid that. So it has really messed us so much. In the last 3 months, as you've said, when Corona came, you can see these children are innocent. I know very well that teenage pregnancies, most of them, you know, our watoto, even counseling them, sometimes it becomes hectic because we are the people, we aged people, men, we are luring these children into sexual issues. Why? Let us call a spade, and the family institution, it is the very first institution that has the responsibility to mold a child. If parents, you fail, do not blame the government, do not blame education, do not blame religious leaders. Because religious leaders have their part also, but you as a family, mother and the father, wacha mambo ya kutumatuma watoto kwenda kuishi na relatives. So what is your responsibility? Stay with your children. Mbona waishi na anko, waishi, stay with your children. Thank you.
Tumeongelea sana kuhusu the girl child. Okay? But without the boy child, would the girl child be pregnant? Huh? Without the boy child, would the girl child be pregnant? The 10-year-old, the 19-year-old? So could masculinity be a factor?
Today we are having a very lost generation, starting from the parents to the kids. The parents we have today ni kama walijipata kwa family thing. So number one, they know nothing about counseling. They know nothing about talking to their kids. So itakuwa vigumu ukiambia mzazi leo aongeleshe mtoto wake, yeti yeye mwenyewe ajui atamuongelesha nini na yeye mwenyewe akuongeleshwa. So we end up kufanya vitu venye zinafanyika. Number two, we are talking about COVID here. Rate may increase kwa sababu ya COVID. Why COVID? The government, it's like it forced us kwenda into a situation where we were not prepared for. So niambie, ule mzazi mwenye amelazimishwa kukaa nyumbani na watoto wake, anafikiria venye ata hustle food ama atafikiria venye atachunga mtoto wake kama ng'ombe. So inakuwa ngumu sana. Baada ya kulazimishwa kufuata sharti, unasahau vitu zingine. So teenage pregnancy ina increase kwa sababu concentration ya parenting, number one, imeshift. So imetoka kwa mtoto, imeenda kwa hustling ya maisha. So unapata negligence comes in. Hakuna mtu wa kuongelesha watoto. The boy child takes advantage. Na due to lack of good guidance, mambo mengi sana ina happen.
When it comes to teenage pregnancy, we are blaming parents. But we, teenagers, or the other teenagers, want to be treated as 21st century. They don't want to hear the parents. Because ukisema mtoto ameharibika because the parent hataki kumuongelesha, that doesn't make sense. I don't know if you have seen the most children from maybe mzazi ni pastor ndo wanaharibika. Maybe that parent is respected in the society. That parent is maybe something in the society, but the children are not doing well. They're drunkards. Those teenage pregnancies are there. So what I'm thinking, to my opinion, I would suggest we peers that at least there should be that peer-to-peer so such that we can advise our sisters, we can advise our brothers. They will hear us more than them hearing the parents, because parents fear children. Same to we children fear parents. I can't get pregnant then go tell my mom niko na mimba. Of course I'll fear maybe ndapigo. So what we should do is, we the youths, at least to go back to the society and talk to those teenage, such that there is also family, what do you call, the Rafiki Center in Eldoret and FHOK, youth-friendly services, where youth can access anything, family planning and the other things. We should go back to the society and talk to them, such that they should know they should do this and this, rather than just giving the parents all the responsibility to do.
So the issue of sexual violence could be rape, transactional sex. I cannot afford pads, and somebody is ready to buy me pads, and I give in. Poverty, lack of education, because nobody is talking to me about it. Those are some of the causes we've had with regard to teenage pregnancies. There is also the issue of masculinity, peer pressure. Okay? Mimi ni mwanaume, na kama wewe ni mwanaume ndio ujulikane wewe ni mwanaume, jaribu hiyo kitu. Then in the process, mtoto wa wenyewe anajipata nini kwa ujauzito? Akijipata ujauzito, what is the consequence? What is the consequence? Aha. Anaacha shule. Now that's my other part. But before I go to that other part, what does it mean for you? What does it mean for you as a youth, as you who's seated there? Now, unaona hii mambo ina happen. Derek, what does that mean for you as a person? Does it mean ukiona mtu mzima, baba mzima anatongoza mtoto unaacha? Does it mean kazini yako ama jirani akikuja akikwambia hichi kitendo kilinitokea, then unamwambia hapana, nyamaza, hii italeta shida? Does it mean you should do that? Does it mean that it's a personal, I liked what he said, it's a personal responsibility for each and every one of us to do something about it? True or false? We can sit here and say parents are the cause, teachers are the cause, government is the cause. But how about you? What are you doing about it as an individual?
I need to talk to them. It's about openness. Like me, I have a girl in the house, my dear. She has a kid. I always talk to her. I tell her, do you want to go back to school sometime? Then she tells me, you know, my mother told me to take care of the kid. Now what am I supposed to do? I'm here now, my mom is taking care of the kid. I have to get money so that I can send to my mom. But what I tell her, if your kid, let's say, is now 2 years, are you ready to go back to school? Then she said, yes, I'll go. So we need to talk to these girls. Let's not assume that story yake imeisha. We have to talk to these girls. There are those who don't have people to talk to. Maybe their parents, they don't want to see this girl again. But wewe kama mtu mwingine mwenye unaweza muongelesha, you can talk to them.
Takirudi shule, na maybe ni shule hapo tu karibu na nyumbani, unapata the issue of stigmatization. True or false? Whether at school, whether nyumbani. Wewe nikikupata na mtoto wa fulani, utaona. Amezaa nyumbani, hata wewe unataka kuwa kama yeye. Akiwa shuleni unasikia ule ana tabia mbaya, tayari anajua mambo ya wanaume. Is it fair? So what can you do? What can you, if you found yourself in that kind of situation, whereby this other person has found herself in that situation and she's decided to go back to school? School is important, true or false? One thing don't forget, mwenye alikuweka kwa hiyo situation yako wapi? Yako wapi? Si yako shule? Si anaendelea na masomo? Tuseme kama ni ile rika moja mnasema acha tujaribu tuone. Si anaendelea na shule? Wewe unabaki nje. Dada yako anabaki nje, jirani anabaki nje. So what would you do to help this girl who finds herself in that situation?
So I would like to answer the question of how we are affected, whether directly or indirectly. Directly, the parent of msichana mwenye amepata ball, there is a certain burden inakuja ya to take care of her child and to take care of her grandchild, and that can bring a lot of psychological, emotional feelings in the family. Jusasa, there is now an extra mouth to feed. In terms of indirectly, we have something called the demographic dividend. This is the structure, the economic growth structure, depending on how the age of the people who are working versus those who are not working. Right now during COVID-19, the number of those who are working iko so low. And yet huku chini wenye hawawak tumekuwa wengi. But if teenage pregnancy increases, this means that the number of people who are not working tuko wengi, and we are depending on the small group of people that is working to improve our economy. So for someone mwenye anaona huyo msichana alikuwa sijui wa nani ati me haini affect, think of it in this manner. If there are more people or there are more girls getting pregnant, this population of the young people wana depend on the pesa ya watu wenye wana work. Inamaanisha government itatumia more money kusustain hao wadogo, haita put into infrastructure, haita put into other good uses. So history ya kuimba ati good road, good health services, we will now start to say that haiwaki anymore, because money is being directed to other things, not to something that is developing our country. So if on our point, as in terms of advocacy, when we meet at the advocacy level in terms of our county and national government, we hear politicians saying zaeni zaeni, but when you go to this politician, tafuta venye unaweza mfanya aone how hii kusema watu wazae ama kuencourage watu wazae na washindwe wakifanya vitu fulani, venye yeye itamuaffect hata yeye mwenyewe. Akisikia watu wakizaa sana itafanya pesa isikuje kwa line yangu ya ministry, he will actually have a different way of pushing that agenda of population ama votes. In terms of our society, if you have a way to get to the young people, gather them around, talk to them. I am very sure there are those who are willing to listen. Sisi wenyewe here, we are example of young people who have gone to the ground in each sub-county in this place. And we've had numbers of young people wenye wameenda to the facilities na waka access services. In another way, like we are helping. Hata kama atuta reach a huge percentage, a bit of it is listening. There are those who won't listen, but if I pass my information to someone else, they will pass it to someone else. Anaweza kosa kuelewa like immediately, but I am so sure at the end of it they will listen.
Over 13,000 teenage girls drop out of school annually because of pregnancy. 449 girls are failing to sit for their final examinations, while others write examinations in maternity wards. Isn't that a sad reflection? You know, you can sit here and say, oh, I'm not affected directly. Hiyo si shida yangu. Yeye nani alimwambia ajiingize huko? But don't you think that in one way or another you can be affected? In one way or another. Because ukiwa hapa, uwezi ukajua nyumbani, nani yako hapo? Yeah? So, other than what she has said, I'd like to hear from the boy child. And as a boy child, I also want to hear the other thing. In terms of now you as a boy child, how would you help in this kind of situation?
I have an issue with the music industry. Ukisikia siku hizi music yenye tunacheza kama vijana, unapata kwamba our boys, the small guys, they dance to this music, they listen to this music, wanaelewa ni nini naongelea kwa music. Na unapata hizi music yenye tunachezesha, they call themselves the gengeton and stuff. As much as we are supporting talent, some mess, I want this one, the NYC. Kama mnaenda Nairobi, as much as you talk to this, our fellow youths, tell them, this is the statements zenye wanasema. Some statement kwa nini by the way, kwenye wanaongea kwa hizo music. Hao vijana wetu wanasikiza na wana dance to it. The 17 years old children, they dance to it, they listen to it. Mpaka mwingine anaweza kuambia ni nini ninasema. So, as much as our youth, sisi kama youth leaders, sometimes mimi naongeanga nyumbani, mimi naambianga vijana, hizi ngoma mnasikiza hizi music mnasikiza hizi. Mudance tu kwa sababu mna dance, ndivyo? Dance to the music, but wachana na statement yenye wanasema. Listen to the, yani you just dance, but now the beat, but now the statement yenye wanasema si mzuri. I think we need to speak to the children. Sisi wengine ni wazazi, si ndivyo? Mimi kama boy child, unapata kwamba vijana wengi saa hizi, kuna vijana kama sisi 30 years of age, tunaenda kupeleka vijana wengine kwa pombe. Unapeleka vijana kwa pombe, unatembeza vijana wengine, unawazungusha vijana kama sisi, si ndivyo? And you know, you don't know if vijana ni 16 years, 18, they have not reached even 18 years. What you going to tell them? Unawapeleka pale, wanaenda kuona hiyo peer pressure, si ndivyo? That's why they go, wanaenda kutafuta wasichana. That's why you get these issues. Tusipoongelesha hawa vijana, hakuna kitu tunasaidia kama vijana. Sisi wakubwa, naona? Tusipoongelesha hakuna kitu tunasaidia kama vijana. Because unasikia amesema mambo na masculine. Unasikia kweli sometimes I go around, I move around. Nasikia vijana wanaongea, watoto wadogo wanaongelea. Hey, angalia ule ni handsome. Angalia ule ni mrembo. Nani mtu amebeba ako na ukiangalia vizuri unaona huyo mwenye anasema anaongea juu ya msichana mdogo sana. Seriously. Tuseme tu kweli, hakuna haja kudanganyana. Kwa sababu ndio mama tunaendelea kudanganyana. Tunasema ni parents. Tunasema ni gava iko wapi? Gava ni sisi. We are the government. When you're on the ground, the government, we are there. Chief ni moja. Chief ni uko na chief na assistant chief. Atakuwa kila mahali. Sisi vijana ndio tuko hapo. Usipoambia vijana waache drugs. Hakuna kitu umesaidia. Usipoambia vijana enda soma. We have books. Shule zitafunguliwa next year. Even the serikali imesema. Si ndivyo? Enda angalia kitabu yako, enda angalia homework, enda angalia vitu mlikuwa umesoma. Enda saidia nini kufanya nini? Discussions. Mambo ya shule. Hakuna kitu kwa tunasaidia. Tusipoambia vijana hivyo. Then now sisi kama vijana sasa the boy child. The boy child kama sisi. Mbona uangalie kijana mwenzako, anapiga story pale, anaongelea msichana mdogo, alafu usimueleze kwamba hii unafanya vibaya. Huyu ni mtoto mdogo. Si ndivyo? So mimi naomba kitu moja kama vijana. Even the youth, the NYC. As much as uko kwa ile nyinyi mna saa zingine mnaenda kwa hizo the media, si ndivyo? Talk about it. Say it as it is. Sema vile iko. Tutablame parents. Parents wataangalia, unajua parents wataangalia tu. Anasema uko na vijana wakubwa nyumbani. Tuko na dada yetu mkubwa pale, si ataongelesha hawa. Your father will go, ataenda kazini. Mwenye anabaki nyumbani nani? Ni wewe na dada yako. Wewe na ndugu yako. Si ndivyo? So let's talk to them. Tuongeleshe vizuri, kwa uzuri na kwa upole. Asanteni.
We have hospitals, we have banks, we have what? Institutions, we have colleges, and our girls are pregnant. What would become of this county?
The county will be affected economically because first there will be shortage of resources because these people are a lot of people are pregnant, especially young people. So there will be shortage of resources in hospital and everywhere because they'll have to be there to be taken care of. Another thing is job opportunities or any other opportunity. You see, young girls, they have a lot of opportunity, but if it's not well cared for, they waste it. So you can't expect a young girl who is pregnant to get some opportunities. Because first, mtoto atakuwa nini education yake itakuwa, because most of them they won't make it to higher level of education just because of stigmatization and maybe lack of nini school fees. So there be shortage of resources and opportunities, because you know most of opportunities come to the young people, but because of lack of information and lack of education, they lose it.
It is reported that every 1 in 5 girls is actually pregnant or already a mother. Other than that, there is the issue of every 1,000 pregnancies. Out of all those pregnancies, 96 pregnancies are actually teenage related. So it means we need to wake up, we need to advocate, we need to do something about it. Ukiwa mtoto wa kike, ukiwa mtoto wa kiume, it does not choose. We are all affected in one way or another, directly or indirectly. Tafadhali, let us take responsibility. Let us stop pointing fingers to the parent, to the teacher, to the government, to anybody else. Ni jukumu lako kama wewe kufanya jambo kuhusu hili jambo. Thank you.